When the world was filled with fear, pain, and injustice, God sent a message of love, forgiveness, and hope. That message came through a humble man, born not in a palace, but in a place of simplicity. This is the life story of Jesus Christ, a life that taught humanity how to love, forgive, and believe. Part 1. The Birth of Hope. The world before Jesus. More than 2,000 years ago, life was very hard for many people. The poor were suffering. The weak were ignored. Powerful rulers controlled the land. Many people felt hopeless. People were waiting for a savior, someone who would guide them back to God, someone who would bring peace to their hearts. That moment was near. A special message to Mary. In a small town called Nazareth lived a pure and faithful woman named Mary. One day, an angel appeared to her. The angel said that God had chosen her for a special mission. She would give birth to a child sent by God. Mary was afraid. She was confused. But she trusted God. She said, "I submit to the will of God." This showed her strong faith. The birth of Jesus. Mary traveled to Bethlehem. There was no place for her to stay, no house, no room. So Jesus was born in a stable, surrounded by animals, wrapped in simple cloth. There was no crown, no guards, no wealth. But that night was special. Angels filled the sky and praised God. They gave glad news to shepherds nearby. They said, "A Savior has been born." The shepherds came and saw the child. They felt peace in their hearts. A child of humility. Jesus grew up in simplicity. He learned to work with his hands. He lived among ordinary people. He felt their pain. He understood their struggles. Even as a child, there was something special about him. He spoke with wisdom. He was kind and gentle. He obeyed God. People did not know yet that this child would change the world forever. A life prepared for a mission. Jesus did not rush into fame. He lived quietly for many years. God was preparing him, preparing his heart, preparing his message, preparing the world. The time would come when Jesus would stand before people and teach them the truth. Jesus Christ entered the world not with power, but with humility, not with wealth, but with faith. His life had just begun, and soon his words and actions would touch millions of hearts. Part 2. The Teachings of Jesus and His Message of Love. As Jesus Christ grew older, the time came for him to begin his mission. He did not come to gain power. He did not come to collect wealth. He came to guide hearts. His message was simple yet powerful. It was a message the world needed deeply, the beginning of his mission. Jesus left his quiet life and began traveling from town to town. He walked on dusty roads. He spoke in open fields. He sat with ordinary people, fishermen, farmers, poor families, sick people. He did not choose kings or rich men first. He chose humble people, because his message was for everyone. A message of love. At the heart of Jesus' teaching was love. He taught people to love God with all their heart, love one another, love even their enemies. This was difficult for many to understand. People were used to hate and revenge, but Jesus said, "Love your enemies. Pray for those who hurt you." These words were new. They touched hearts. Forgiveness over revenge. Many people came to Jesus with anger and pain. They asked, "What should we do to those who hurt us?" Jesus replied with calm words, "Forgive them." He taught that forgiveness frees the heart. Hate only creates more pain. This teaching was hard, but it brought peace to those who accepted it. Helping the poor and the weak. Jesus spent much of his time with the poor, the sick, and the rejected. He did not turn anyone away. He listened to the broken. He comforted the sad. He gave hope to the hopeless. People felt safe around him. They said, "When he speaks, our hearts feel light." Parables, teaching through stories. Jesus often taught using simple stories called parables. These stories were easy to understand, but they carried deep meaning. He spoke about a lost sheep and a caring shepherd, a kind man helping a stranger, seeds growing into strong plants. Through these stories, he taught kindness, patience, faith, humility. People remembered his lessons because they felt real. A life of humility. Jesus lived simply. He did not own a palace. He did not live in luxury. He ate simple food. He wore simple clothes. He showed people that true richness is not money, but a clean heart. Opposition begins. Not everyone liked his message. Some leaders felt threatened. They feared losing control. They did not like that Jesus spoke about truth, equality, sincerity. They began to question him. They tried to trap him with words. But Jesus answered calmly and wisely. He never raised his voice. He never insulted. Jesus' message spread quickly. People followed him because he spoke with truth. He lived what he taught. He gave hope. But as his light grew brighter, the darkness began to resist. Hard times were coming. Yet Jesus remained firm in his faith and gentle in his heart. Part 3. Miracles, compassion, and growing opposition. As Jesus Christ continued his journey, more and more people began to follow him. They did not follow him because of wealth or power. They followed him because they felt hope. Wherever Jesus went, lives began to change. A heart full of compassion. Jesus never ignored suffering. When he saw sick people, his heart felt their pain. When he saw the poor, he stood beside them. When he saw sinners, he did not hate them. He guided them. People were surprised. At that time, society often pushed sick and weak people away. But Jesus did the opposite. He moved closer to them, healing the sick. Many people came to Jesus with illnesses. Some could not walk, some could not see, some suffered for many years. Jesus listened to them patiently. He touched them gently. He prayed and showed mercy. People were healed, not just their bodies, their hearts too. They felt loved. They felt accepted. They felt seen, helping without conditions. Jesus never asked people for money. He never asked for praise. He helped because love was his nature. He taught that helping others is not a duty. It is a reflection of faith. He said that true goodness comes from within, feeding the hungry. One day, a large crowd followed Jesus into a quiet place. They listened to his teachings all day. When evening came, people were hungry. The disciples were worried. They said, "There is not enough food." But Jesus remained calm. With faith and prayer, food was shared, and everyone ate. This taught people an important lesson. When we share with love, God provides. Walking among ordinary people. Jesus did not stay far away from people. He ate with them. He talked with them. He walked with them. He sat with children and blessed them. He spoke kindly to women, giving them respect. This was unusual in that time. But Jesus showed that everyone has value. Growing fame and growing fear. As his followers increased, so did his fame. People talked about him everywhere. Some called him a teacher. Some called him a prophet. But the religious leaders were afraid. They feared losing control. They feared losing power. They did not like that Jesus spoke with authority, without fear. Questions and challenges. The leaders began to challenge Jesus. They asked difficult questions. They tried to confuse him, but Jesus answered with wisdom and calmness. He never argued loudly. He never insulted anyone. His words were gentle but strong. A clear choice. People now faced a choice. Some believed in his message of love and faith. Some rejected him out of fear or pride. Jesus knew that not everyone would accept the truth, but he continued anyway, because his mission was not to please people. It was to serve God. Jesus Christ continued to teach, heal, and guide. But as light grows brighter, shadows grow darker. Opposition was increasing. Trials were coming closer. Yet Jesus walked forward with courage, trusting fully in God. Part 4. Betrayal, Trial, and Sacrifice. As Jesus Christ continued his mission, he knew that difficult days were coming. He never promised an easy path. He taught truth, and truth often faces resistance. Yet even knowing the pain ahead, Jesus did not turn back. The last days of teaching. Jesus spent his final days teaching with even more care. He spoke about humility, faith, forgiveness, staying close to God. He warned his followers that hard times would come. He asked them to stay strong and not lose hope. Many people still followed him, but fear was growing. A trusted follower's betrayal. Among Jesus' close followers was a man who chose a different path. This man betrayed Jesus, not because Jesus was wrong, but because fear and greed entered his heart. This betrayal hurt deeply, not only because of what would happen next, but because it came from someone close. Jesus knew this would happen, yet he did not respond with anger or hatred. He remained calm. The arrest of Jesus. Late one night, Jesus was arrested. He did not resist. He did not fight back. He did not ask his followers to defend him. Instead, he accepted what was happening. This showed his strength, not physical strength, but strength of faith. An unfair trial. Jesus was taken before religious leaders. They questioned him. They accused him falsely. Many accusations were untrue, but fear had already taken control of the leaders. Jesus spoke calmly. Sometimes he stayed silent. He did not defend himself with anger. His silence showed dignity, facing judgment. The leaders wanted punishment. They believed his message threatened their authority. Despite knowing he was innocent, they handed him over for punishment. This was injustice. Yet Jesus did not curse them. He did not seek revenge. He chose patience, the path of suffering. Jesus was mocked. He was insulted. He was hurt. Still, he prayed for those who harmed him. He showed mercy even in pain. This moment showed the true depth of his message. Love does not end when suffering begins. A sacrifice for humanity. Jesus accepted suffering to show the power of faith and obedience to God. He did not teach hatred. He did not teach violence. He showed that even in the darkest moment, faith can remain strong. For many believers, this moment became a symbol of sacrifice, patience, and trust in God's plan. The world in silence. When Jesus' suffering ended, the world felt silent. His followers were afraid. They felt lost. They wondered, what will happen now? It seemed like darkness had won. But the story was not over. What looked like an end was actually a beginning. Pain did not destroy the message. Suffering did not erase the truth. Hope was still alive. And soon, that hope would rise stronger than ever. Part 5. Resurrection, Hope, and the Last Message. After the time of great suffering, silence filled the hearts of Jesus' followers. They were afraid. They were confused. They felt that everything was over. But God's plan was not finished. What looked like the end was actually the beginning of hope, a morning of surprise. Early in the morning, on the third day, Some women went to the place where Jesus had been laid. Their hearts were heavy. Their steps were slow. But when they arrived, they saw something unexpected. The stone was moved. The place was empty. They were afraid. Then they heard a message that changed everything. He is not here. Fear turned into shock. Shock turned into hope. Jesus appears again. Soon after, Jesus appeared to his followers. They could not believe their eyes. They were filled with joy, but also with disbelief. Jesus spoke gently to them. He comforted them. He removed their fear. He showed them that God's power is greater than pain, greater than injustice, greater than death. Hope returned to their hearts. Teaching after the resurrection, Jesus spent time with his followers. He reminded them of his message. Love one another. Forgive each other. Trust in God. Stay strong in faith. He did not speak of revenge. He did not speak of anger. He spoke of peace. He taught them to spread kindness, not fear. Truth, not hatred. A message for all humanity. Jesus told his followers that his message was not only for one group, it was for the poor, the rich, the weak, the strong, for everyone. He asked them to carry the message of love to the world, not with force, not with pride, but with humility and faith, the final goodbye. When the time came, Jesus prepared to leave. His followers were sad, but he reassured them. He reminded them that God is always near, that truth never dies, that love is stronger than fear. He blessed them and asked them to stay united. A life that changed the world. The life of Jesus Christ left a deep mark on history. He did not build an army. He did not collect wealth. Yet millions remember him. Why? Because his life was built on love, sacrifice, faith, forgiveness. His message crossed time, borders, and cultures. Jesus showed the world that true strength is patience, true victory is faith, true greatness is love. Even today, his words continue to guide hearts. The life of Jesus Christ teaches us one powerful truth. Darkness may come, but light always returns. When we choose love over hate, forgiveness over anger, faith over fear, we keep his message alive. As we come to the end of the life story of Jesus Christ, remember this simple truth. He taught love when the world chose hate, forgiveness when the world chose anger, and faith when the world chose fear. His life reminds us that true strength is kindness, and true victory is staying faithful to God. May his message guide our hearts, calm our minds, and inspire us to live with compassion every day. Thank you for listening.